Hey everyone. Well, we had a pretty exciting week listening or reading about and listening to thoughts about networking. And a couple of you made a really excellent point. I feel like it was Bethia and Gunnar about using this class as a springboard for some networking. And maybe even Kira brought it up. But the point is this. Here you are all doing the same thing, trying to do certain things sort of in the same wheelhouse. And we should I'll probably in general questions, maybe set up a board where we can share social media, probably at the end of class, just to make sure that you're all connected. And if one of you ends up being like an uber famous editor, you can reach out to your classmates who are wanting to be published. That would be the dream connection, yes? So we'll do that and just think about this at the end of class again, because as I was writing to somebody, because I can't remember who it was, the brain's going, I'm still in contact with people from my degrees. I've done readings with people. People have contacted me out of the blue. Some people have asked me to come do readings. So you know what? It's fun. It's human, and it's also useful. So think about that. In terms of the resumes, I did a lot of editing for you on them, especially if you turned it in during a time when Turnitin was behaving. And even if it wasn't behaving, in the text box, I did leave you a lot of notes. So we read, and this is what I tell my poetry students. And so all these rules are always applicable everywhere. We read with a big I. We look at something and we understand it even before we read it. This is how, when you teach reading, which I did for years, we teach people to read in big pieces of sentences. We don't teach people to read word for word. We teach people to read along in chunks. And I'm sure those of you who've taught reading know this. So we do the same thing when we are confronted with a page. We know it's a letter, an obituary, an advertisement, a prose poem. Well, maybe we don't know the difference between a prose poem and a flash fiction, but we know that it is a piece of prose in a paragraph form. So it's not probably a villanelle. We know when things are an outline. We know when things are a list. We know because we are looking with our big eye. A resume it's necessary for you to edit with your big eye first. And I did a lot of spacing, font, etc. So think about that. If you picked a template that doesn't work, ditch the template. Move on. And also watch your colors. And then go into the sentence level stuff. And I have to pause. Dogs, I'm telling you. So I'm going to end this soon because we've got some kind of gotta go to the backyard emergency. So I think we can't underestimate how important first impressions are. And I'm talking about everything. This is like the cover letter discussion. This is about these things that we send out into the world. They're so crucial because people want to turn away from something that upsets their eye. And I'm, of course, talking from a sighted perspective, which is a blessing. But I have dug through piles and piles of resumes. In one job position that I remember, I think we had 300 applications. We had to split them up into teams, and this was before they were all online. And you can be assaulted by the way someone has presented something, and you have to force yourself to read it. And that is not what we want to do. We want to make things really seamless for the reader of this, especially a resume. So I did post a couple of them. And one of the reasons I posted these is that they were very, very easy on the eye. They were very easy on the eye. The other reason I posted them is that they had a very specific focus and job. And then the resume carried through with that very clear focus. And I think that is something to aim for. When I have sent my resume out for certain things, like for this job was newer. I did not put all my teaching down. I put my tenured position down. I put my UCLA teaching down. And that is it. I didn't go all the way back to my part-time gigs at other community colleges. I didn't talk about being a tutor in the Learning Center. I didn't write about my insurance experience post high school. I ended it where it was relevant. I also, a number of you put high school on your resume. At this point, no one cares about high school. If you got into college, we assume you finished high school in some way. You tested out or you graduated. So really think about the job and then really just aim toward it and then make it look attractive. Now, it doesn't have to be all the same style, but attractive to the eye. So that's my rant. That was kind of a rant, but it was a happy rant. I feel happy about it. I'm actually very passionate about formatting and the way things look. It's so important. And when you get published, you have the opportunity to spend time looking at your work. You get galleys, and many literary journals send you galleys, and you get to really look at your work and critique the way it looks on the page and make suggestions. And with a book, you get to look at fonts for titles and covers, and not only you will not win all of these or any of these arguments, but you get to look. So, all right, that's it. Onward. Read the announcement, read the examples, or look at the examples, and we will move forward.